can start. Hold on for now, yeah. All right, so before we get started or anything, most of you guys might or might not know who each one of us are. So if it's okay with you, I would like to just take a minute to introduce myself to you, kind of tell you how I ended up in front of you today so that you can have some context for where this all came from. When Ray speaks, he'll do the same. When Keith speaks, he'll do the same. We'll make sure you guys know everybody in the room. Is that cool with you guys? Okay, so before I jump into that, I do want to mention we have Todd back here. So Dr. Todd Dersham, say hello. Todd is one of our one-on-one staff members, so he takes clients one-on-one and works them through getting them out of pain, working them towards performance. We have one more staff member coming today. His name is Dr. Bo Babenko. He had a previous engagement he had to be at. He'll be here about 11:30 this morning. Keith will give a more in-depth introduction when he goes, but Keith has been working with me now for 4 years. And Ray Gorman is our Director of Staff Development. He's the one who works with all of our coaches and makes sure that they know what they're doing. When we run immersion programs, he's the one who's in charge of all of them. And they will give you their own introductions when it's their turn. For me, I want to be brief, but I want to kind of tell you guys where this all came from. I started off working as a personal trainer in the worst gym you could possibly find, right? Like I knew I want to be a personal trainer. I love this stuff. But I don't want anyone to know who I am because I suck at this. So I found the worst gym that I could. It wasn't a CrossFit gym, it was a world gym in a town I won't name because this will be on video, right? I learned how to clean selectorized equipment. I learned that you're supposed to use paper, not paper towels, but newspaper to clean the mirrors because they don't leave a residue. I sold a bag of steroids from behind the front desk. Sold personal training. I did everything in this place. The steroids was kind of like the end of the line. I'm like, okay, cool, like I got my stuff done here, I'm out. So 6 months there, then I went and worked at a club called Equinox. You guys familiar with Equinox? And while I'm at Equinox, I'm working with personal training clients. And I loved it. I'm like, wow, this is cool. Like people value me, they're paying for my services and all this. And I started to get clients who were hurt. You know, like I became the guy that the hurt clients wanted to go to because my dad was a chiropractor and I thought I was a quasi-doctor at the time. I'm like, I can fix that. I can work around that. Found that not to be so true, right? So I would go up to the physical therapy suite and ask them, hey, what do I do with this person? How do I help this person better? And they would constantly tell me like, oh, well, if they have pain when they squat, just don't squat them, right? Or, oh, if it hurts when they press overhead with that weight, just go much lighter or just don't press overhead. And that got really, really tiresome for me really, really fast. So I decided, okay, I'm going to leave this. I was making 6 figures at the time as a 21-and-a-half-year-old, so I was doing well. And I'm going to go to chiropractic school like my dad, and I'm going to be a doctor like my dad. It's going to be great. So I go to chiropractic school. At the time, CrossFit was just getting started. People were like, oh, you should do this CrossFit thing. And I'm watching videos of the 2008 or 2009 CrossFit games, and I'm like, no, that stuff is stupid. I'm not doing that. Did you see how she did that exercise? No, I hated it. Come out of school, I go work in my father's office seeing patients. And it was everything from like the waitress who worked nights to the high school athlete who didn't work at all. Whole array of different kinds of patients. Adjusting them, stim, kind of doing what I was uninspired by in the gym from the physical therapist who told me if it hurts, don't do it. Start taking courses on how to manipulate soft tissue from a guy named Dr. Bill Brady. It's called integrative diagnosis, and I learned how to better assess movement than I'd ever learned how to do it before, and I got re-inspired again. I'm like, you know what, I want to go find a different population of people to do this with. Fine, I'll check out one of these CrossFit places. So I go to CrossFit Garden City in Garden City, New York. At the time, it was a closet. It was not the big facility that it is now. And I started treating patients out of there and working out there. And I was charging $50 cash for a visit, and they would do anything you asked them. They're like, yes, you tell me to do that, I will do it because I want to work out more. And I'm like, this is what I want to do. I want to work with this kind of person. So I started doing that. I'm like, you know what? I want to open my own gym. This is cool. Open my own gym, and I was like, this is great. Everything's going to be awesome. I have my clinic over here. My best friend is over here running the gym with me. This is great. I will fast forward through no longer speaking to my best friend, Hurricane Sandy, and all of the shit in between, and get you to a place where we open a new clinic, a new gym. We have a patient move. His name was Drew Canavero. Drew actually introduced me to Ray. So Drew was a competitive CrossFit athlete. He was in grid at the time. And he moves from New York to San Francisco? To San Francisco. And he's like, hey, while I'm gone, can you help me? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I put my hands on people. How am I going to help somebody? We'll try. Moves away. So we start writing exercise prescriptions for him. And he's doing really well. Now his teammates are like, hey, I don't know what Drew is doing, but could you do that for us? I'm like, we know Drew. We don't really know you. I don't know if it's going to work, but we'll try. And it worked. So Drew starts working for this company called Brute Strength. Anybody ever heard of Brute Strength? Brute Strength hears about what's going on. And Drew's like, you got to work with them. I'm like, we'll try. So I remember we start working with this guy named Brennan Fjord. He was the first guy we worked with. Got him from sleeping in pain, like waking up in the middle of the night in pain, to PRing his snatch in about 2.5 months. And that's when they decided, like he PR'd his snatch, and that day, I don't know if you guys remember, Tommy Hackenbrook put out a video calling out Mayhem that they were gonna, that was the year that they were gonna win the CrossFit Games. They were gonna Mayhem and NorCal. It was like those 3 teams. I was like, oh, it's cool. Like we allowed them to have a team to go to the games. That's awesome. And then I was at Gap trying on jeggings. Like they were jeans, but they were like sweatpants. And I get a call from a number I don't know, and I'm like, who's this? I pick up, I'm like, hello, and she's like, hi, my name is Brooke Entz, and Mike Casual told me to call you. I'm like, I know who that is. She's like a quasi-celebrity. That's cool. And I remember my wife was like, yeah, zip your pants and have the conversation with her. I'm like, okay. So now, right, I mean, we've evolved from that, but now what we recognize is that what we're doing, while it was extremely unique at the time, nobody else was doing it. Nobody else was looking at CrossFit as a great modality to get fit and also at the same time a great way to drive you into the ground. Everybody was either sipping on the Kool-Aid or hating on it. We were like, no, it's good, but it's got to be done a little bit differently than maybe you're thinking about. Now I recognize that it's not really that unique. Every one of you guys can do pretty much everything that we do. And that's the truth. We've taught coaches how to do it, and they're doing it. Keith is not a doctor. He just plays one on the internet, right? But you guys, my ambition for you this weekend is that when you leave this room, you are able to see movement in a totally different way than you saw it before. That the ticking time bombs who walk into your gym that you don't recognize as a ticking time bomb all of a sudden become blatantly obvious to you who they are. It's like, oh, wow, that person shouldn't do that exercise because of this, but we're not going to shut that exercise down forever. Here are the steps that we need to take to get them back to doing that exercise. That's the plan, right? This is Tyler's gym. You guys all meet Tyler? Tyler's our host. Thank you, Tyler, for having us. But one of the things that we talk about a lot, Tyler and I are good friends, is you don't want to just get people fit. You want to make people better people through the fitness that you teach them. In order to do that, you need to have conversations about why they're really here, what they're really trying to accomplish, why it's so important to them that they just bro out today or rage. I was at a workshop one time, and this guy's like, yeah, it hurts to tie my shoes, and like I have really bad back pain in the morning, but dude, I just want to rage out and deadlift heavy. I'm like, okay. Like that, maybe not the best idea. But did it anyway. But so that's it. I want you guys to be able to have a different perspective on how you should look at fitness and the responsibility that you have with your members when they walk in the door. The biggest thing, I want to make sure you guys understand this, okay? One of my biggest frustrations that I hope is a frustration for you also, that we're going to start solving this weekend, is when coaches come to me and they say, I'm not in this for the money. I get that. I turned down a 7-figure job, 7 figures a year job in finance. My uncle was the CEO of an investment bank in Hong Kong. One of his employees, not my uncle, came to me and said, it is your God-given right to make millions of dollars in finance. Come work for me. I was like, no, I'm going to struggle for 8 years. I'm cool. So I get that it's not about the money. But if you guys don't want to make money doing this at all, please do it for free and go get a job. I want you guys to be able to demonstrate the value that you have to your membership, to go from being what we call service providers to being solution providers. I want you to be able to describe your gym as differently than somebody else's. So we'll do a little experiment. Let's see. You guys might have already seen videos on this, so if you've seen a video, just say, no, I'm not doing it. But Aaron, you look nervous, so I'll ask you. What do you do? Are you a CrossFit coach?
I just bought a gym on May 1st.
Oh, congratulations. Oh, yes, you did. You definitely can answer this question.
Okay.
I've done this with you.
Yeah.
Westy, we'll talk about you. So, Westy, you coach CrossFit, right? Yes. Okay. What makes your gym better than any other gym in town?
Our coaching.
Okay.
And our community.
Perfect. Kalina, what makes your gym better than any other gym in town?
We offer any service for anyone to walk in the door.
Okay. Chris, what makes your gym better?
I haven't really started coaching yet, so I wouldn't.
Okay. I should have asked you that first. Patrick, do you coach?
Yeah.
What makes EVF better?
Our coaching.
Okay. So here's the thing I want you guys to understand. Please raise your hand if you think that your gym has the best coaching in your area. Okay. Awesome. That's how you're supposed to feel. But the gym down the block doesn't agree with you. They just don't. What happens is somebody comes in, they want to join your gym. They're thinking about joining your gym. They just want to get fit. They don't even know why they want to get fit. They just look down, they haven't seen their toes in a while, and they want to change that. So they come in, why should I join this gym? That's what they're asking you. And you're like, oh, well, we have the best coaching, the best programming, the best community. Cool. That's what that guy just told me. That's what that guy's about to tell me. Who am I supposed to believe? By the end of this weekend, I want you guys to have a very clear, what we call only statement. So you can say, we are the only gym who, boom. And then you can tell them how, and you can tell them why that's important to you. Then what will happen is the people who value what you do will start looking for you. You stop selling people, and you start solving for people, and you stop feeling bad about this dichotomy between money and service, and all of a sudden, you're more fulfilled because you're making more money and people are thanking you for taking it on the way in. Does that sound like a cool world to live in? Promise you, I went from being in one that wasn't like that, where I was like, it's like $125 a month, is that cool? To saying, yeah, if you want to be a part of this, it's $5,000. No problem. And I get more thank yous now than I got then. Okay? Any questions for me before I get started on the real meat of the content?